Friday, August 15th, 6:11 p.m. New York time. Welcome back, investors, to Owning Wall Street's Money. We just finished another week. We finished the middle of the month. This past few days ago, the United States made history. We broke record high of the U.S. debt is now above $37 trillion. Do you know how that impacts the United States credit line? How about you? Are you carrying debt other than maybe a mortgage? Are you carrying debt on an automobile? Student loans? Credit cards? Some bookie? That ruins your credibility? That could lead to degeneracy? Lose confidence from others toward you. How's your nation doing? Again, the United States, we have several federal agencies, one being the Federal Reserve. When they raise and lowers the interest rate, that alone does not determine the credit value of the United States. It's the actions of Congress and the president on spending versus the amount of money we take in for tax revenue. Yeah, we broke a record high. And what do we get in return? We are only paying the interest on the debt. That's a terrible thing. Well, that also impacts currencies, could weaken a nation's currency, and have less people want to buy the U.S. Treasuries, bonds. So let's go look at the U.S. dollar index. It says right here in white, U.S. dollar index, that's the symbol. This trades in the futures market. This trades on the ICE exchange. There's more than one futures market. And each of these candles represent a week. So this is 5 years of history. Look how we performed for the last 5 years. Back here. This is the low of 2021, the bottom left. It was under accumulation. People wanted to hold US dollars. They wanted to be in possession of US dollars. Accumulation, smart money was buying. They marked it up. 2021, 2022. Look at that high of 2022. Distribution, smart money selling. Huge sell down, markdown, huge consolidation. Long duration of consolidation. Again, some of this overlaps what? Change of Congress. Every 2 years, elections, and during that time, leadership of Congress changed, spending more money, pumped it up here, near the, close to the third quarter, I guess, of last year, pumped it up, got to the high of last year, here. And then this year, consolidation, distribution, markdown. So here we are now. We are in a consolidation near the lows of this year. Looks like we're still under more distribution. So the overall trend has been down. In this consolidation, lower highs. Higher probably, we're going to go lower. Let's go look at the major currencies inside the US dollar. Before we do that, understand the purchasing power of those that hold the dollar. You're going to have to accumulate more dollars, use more dollars for buying power. That hurts many people. Okay, let's go to the major currencies inside the US dollar. The first is the euro. The euro makes up the largest percentage of the US dollar index. Makes up nearly 57%, give or take. It varies. Yeah, that's way more than half of the US dollar index represent of the euro. Top left, look at the high all the way back 2021. And the bottom, the low of 2022. We're much closer to the highs of 2021. So again, the euro, here was accumulation, markup phase. The euro is still in markup phase. Let me move these up. Let me keep these. There we go. Again, 5-year chart. Each candle is a week on the euro. Yes, there's some volatility involved in here, but we haven't taken out the swing lows. Here's a swing low. Here's a swing low. We're making higher lows. The momentum is still to the upside. The second largest currency in the US dollar index is the Japanese yen. It represents, say around 14% of the US dollar index, give or take. Here's the high, top left. Here's the low, 2024. And again, it's making higher lows. Okay, here's the low, 2024, the low, 2025. Here's a swing point. Let me label that. Swing points could get retested, but if it doesn't break and close below it, well, we are still trending up on these retracements. Big bullish pin bar there. We are in a tight consolidation down here too for the past year and a half, year and two. British pound, the third largest currency in the US dollar index, makes up around 12% of the US dollar index. Top left, the high from 2021. The bottom left, the low of 2022. And big difference. Yep. Look at that. This is a huge momentum to the upside, trend upside, markup phase, consolidation, pullback. Let me label these two, these swing points. Right off the bat, if you look at these swing points, they tested key areas, buyers stepped in, and they took back off. Yep. So again, momentum's to the upside in this one. So the three largest currencies, again, the euro, Japanese yen, British pound, three largest currencies weighted average in the US dollar index. The weakest one is the Japanese yen I just showed you. So let's continue looking at the other currencies in the US dollar index. Australian dollar. Yep, just shy of being the highs of this year, which were the lows. Again, this is the past 5 years. The Australian dollar, that was a low, which was this year, the past 5 years. Now it's grinding up, working its way up. No, I could simply say, yes, this is a big consolidation. Major swing points there. Let's label that one. There we go. Canadian dollar, partner to the north. Look, the past 5 years, the low was here. This year, big difference, right? From the low of the year to trending up. So these other nations also have what's called central banks. And they independently, those nations, adjust their interest rates to have an impact on their currencies. They also have their power to print their own currency and manage their own economy, debts, deficits, spending. So apparently, some of their have houses in better in order than the United States financially. That's the Canadian dollar. Swiss franc. Up the past 5 years. Here's the low of this year. Took off like a rocket ship. And here's the high this year. Swiss franc. The nation, demographic size-wise, is such a small compared to the United States. Well, but they have a strong demand for their currency. They're also landlocked. They're not tied to bordering to an ocean. Landlocked nation and a strong currency. Wow, impressive. See how they went here? The far left, the low of 2022. Markup phase, a lot of whipsaw. And nice. Let's go on to the next. The Mexican peso. Wow. The high of 2024. Huge markdown phase. They had elections. Consolidation. Markup phase. This week made a new high for the year. Impressive. This is not part of the US dollar index. I'm showing this because it's, again, between Canada and the United States. Those two nations are the largest trading partners to the United States. We import huge amount of products and services, as well as export products and services to those countries. It has a big impact on currencies. Importing from Canada and the United States, well, just showed you their currency's going up, you're paying more. Here's the Canadian dollar, and I mentioned, as they go up, you're paying more for those products and services. Let's look at the Chinese yuan. Yep. So this is a currency pair that's in the Forex market. And the first three letters represent the US dollar. The second pair, three letters represents the Chinese yuan. So the first three letters, being that that's the stronger currency, by default, when this is trending up, it represents the US dollar in strength. What do we have here? Here's the high of the year, 2025. Past 5 years, the US dollar was the highest point against it. And since then, it's been trending down. Weaker US dollar, stronger Chinese yuan. Wow. You think we import some stuff from them? Pretty big, right? Yeah, very big. Ocean away. And the US dollar getting weaker, and it costs more for those products and services. Oh, by the way, there's tariffs in countries. That's another form of tax. So let's say, again, weaker US dollar costs more dollars to buy those products and services. Tariffs, you're paying more for those products and services. What's going on here, you think? Cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. Top right, the high of the year. And look at this week, all-time new high. What percentage of your products and services you use year to date are you paying with or receiving Bitcoin in? For me, 0. Yep. This is a speculation. That's what cryptocurrency is. They're speculation, financial instruments. You ever hear of stock market, aka equity market? That's speculating. Or U.S. treasuries, bonds, money market, CDs, those kind of things. They're savings, fixed income products, backed by taxation to pay for those. So again, Bitcoin is a speculation investment, high risk. But I just showed you several currencies for you opportunities. You could invest in those currencies, just like stocks, crypto, real estate. You could invest in currencies. They had stock ETFs. Thank you as always, spending just a little time with me. That's it for the video. Thank you for watching.